record on this computer.
And you can mark one of us as co-host if you want, if we need to do like moderation-y type things. I doubt we will, but.
Okay. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay, cool. Make all y'all co-hosts. Yay, I hope it's recording the right way. Gallery view. Cool. Okay, hi everyone, this is the CABZ meeting. It is Thursday, February 20th. Please follow the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, and we'll be going off the agenda that's currently linked in the chat. It is my first time hosting, so go easy on me. All right, do we have any new members or attendees? I wouldn't really know, so if you're new, please say something.
I'm new. I used to work with ACE until he transferred teams. I don't know if you guys know who ACE is.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name's Tiffany Saddam, and we are kind of using a version of Cluster API in our production, and I just wanted to join in so I'd be in the loop with you guys, possibly even to work or request new features if you guys don't have it yet.
Yeah, that's great. We would love
Awesome.
feature requests. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I am Prakash here. I have been attending for a few weeks. I deal with actually the metal cube, bare metal operator, and cluster API uses some of the, or at least there is some connection between the two. So I don't know full things. I'm also new. I'm trying to learn. So I'm part of this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining. Anybody else? All right. All right, so next, you guys go through the test grid dashboard view or no? Okay, or image pushes or, okay.
Yeah, they should be clean though.
Yeah, I don't
now.
need to go through those.
Okay, so we can skip it for this meeting and then maybe do it next meeting. We'll clean it up and make sure it's ready to be shown. Okay.
Yeah, we can actually pull that and just drag that to the top later. So it's just general info,
Oh,
like maybe
cool.
under the cluster API Azure info instead of in each of
Yes.
the meetings. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so I think we can do the project board review. It's something that I got access to, and we made a new project board. Stephen helped out a lot, so thank you, Stephen. We can do that maybe at the end, because we want to go through some specific issues, and hopefully we'll get some volunteers to help out with some stuff. So let's do that at the end. So let's start with an open discussion. Cecile with V1 Alpha 3 updates.
Sure. So for those who weren't there last week, we have a V1 Alpha 2 release. So master is now targeting V1 Alpha 3. We have been using Cluster API master for the last, up until today. So master was a little bit unstable, master of CABZ, because we were pulling new changes as they were merging in CAPI, which means we got affected by some breaking changes in some of our end-to-ends. But this should be resolved now. I actually just merged a PR like less than an hour ago that puts us back up to date with the latest changes in CAPI master. And it also makes us use the new release candidate release that CAPI has released. And so we're now targeting CAPI 0.3.0 RC1. And we'll keep updating that as new release candidates come out, but now we can at least decide when we're taking in new changes. So that's there. We also updated to V1, which was one of the requirements, and we're working on adding webhooks. So I work for conversion webhooks, sorry. And Richard Case, who's not here today, he has a PR that is adding validation and default webhooks, along with some image defaulting. So that's coming. That's all. Any questions about that?
I don't think so. Cool. Thank you. Thanks for the update.
Sorry.
Oh.
Before, did you
Go ahead.
update? Did you update in the Kubernetes SIG for us to review what you've submitted?
Sorry, what do you mean?
So I see github.com asks Kubernetes SIG projects 4 at the top of the document here. So does that not refer to the board where you update the
That's
backup and to
so
do
that's the new project board. We'll go through that later in the meeting. But that project board is not fully up to date yet.
Okay, I see. But can you put the link for the submit so that we can review that?
If you go into the history of the repo, the commits, we can pull up the PRs. But hold on.
Okay, so
But they're the most recent PRs that just merged. So the V1 Alpha 3 CRD CRD V1 and yeah.
I just pasted.
Cecile's got the link. Yeah.
All right, not in master, in chat. Sorry.
Cool. I don't know if this update already went through, but the release 0.3 branch update. That was the next thing on the agenda.
Yeah. So
So go ahead.
go for it.
Yeah, we just need to release a patch for V1 Alpha 2 because we need the preserve unknown fields marker to be false for clusters that get created in V1 Alpha 2 in order for them to later be upgradable to V1 Alpha 3. So that PR has been merged in the release branch and we just need to cut a new release.
Now, does that field need to exist in V1 Alpha 3 as well?
No, so since we moved to CRD V1, it removed the, well, it's true. I think it's there by default, so we don't need to specify it anymore.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure. Cool. So the kind of, the note here about pushing more content to the branch, basically the way our image building, container image building works is it triggers on post submit, right? So every time we commit something, there is a GCP job that runs, our Google Cloud build job that runs in the background to build and push the images, right? So the way Cluster API kind of does it is they only enable image pushing on the active release branch, and for a few reasons. Like one, we probably shouldn't be pushing images to branches that no longer need them, but also some of the older branches will have are not necessarily wired up for that automation yet. The automation is a newer thing. It's been around for a little bit, but the previous branches are not wired to do the image pushing. So the master, currently the master branch and the release 0.3 branch, which is the V1 Alpha 2 release branch, will support image pushing. So all we need to do now is push an additional commit onto the release branch to trigger that again. So then once we have that, we'll have a new container image, and then we can use the container image and promote that to be a production image for the next release. So we're gonna, now that that's here, Cecile, we can do that tomorrow.
I also want to add, I forgot to mention, after we merge the webhook PRs, we also have a PR from Nader that's waiting to merge to refactor the config folder for customize, and that will allow multi-tenancy while using webhooks.
I think that merged. I think it just merged, right?
Oh, that was a
no.
That was a different one.
I have to wait for the conversion webhook one to be merged into a secondary base on top of that.
Okay, perfect.
Cool, thanks. Any other points of discussion that anyone wants to bring up before we go through the project board?
I'm not sure if we mentioned this in the previous meeting. I wasn't able to attend, but we have some new folks, right? Well, some maintainer changes, I guess, right? So Nick Lane, a Soggiest, you may know him by, has stepped down. He doesn't have time to focus on CapC as with the job change. So he has stepped down. He says, "Thank you. It was a pleasure." Yada yada yada. And Nader, we have introduced, promoted as a reviewer. You've been doing some awesome work. So thank you for being part of the project.
Thank you.
And sorry, I did pronounce your name right, did I?
Yes. Yes. It
Okay.
is.
Okay. Cool.
Oops.
Should
Cool.
we get forward to the next item before we go into project board? I
Oh
saw,
yeah, is there another thing up there?
yeah, the template.
Propose a template for CabZ. Yes. David, take it away.
Yeah, sorry. So as we start growing, it seems like we'll probably need to be able to propose some wider changes, perhaps disruptful changes possibly. And to do so, we should probably have some proposal process, follow the same processes that are out there already, and figure out what's the light touch way, and when do we need heavier touch? Like when do we need like the full-on proposal? When do we need a light proposal? I don't know. What makes sense?
So I was going to go on a rant on that issue, and I was like, let me just hold it for discussion. So basically, so part of what I do is I also maintain the KEP process, right? Which is the Kubernetes enhancement proposals. And the Cluster API has a mirror process called the CAP process, CAEP, right? Cluster API enhancement proposal. So when I saw the additional proposal get introduced in our repo, I was like, oh, please, no more. So I agree that we do need a light touch way of doing this. We need to figure out, I think that if we're going to say that caps are the ones that we go with, then they should be in one place. There is an advantage to having the proposals close to the code, but there is also potential confusion around having proposals in so many different places, right? So I think that we should talk a little with I was talking a little with some of the Cluster API maintainers before this. I think that we should probably keep them in one place, which is Cluster API. But I think for the purposes of our repo, we can probably have a feature request proposal issue template that would start the discussion, that would roll into eventually some proposal, whether it's on a Google Doc that gets turned into a Markdown, which is kind of usually how people do it anyway.
Cool, that makes sense. For the tactical, the PR that's out there, what do you think about just having updating the issue template to include the proposal, and then pointing out to Cluster API for if maintainers say, hey, we need a more robust proposal?
Yeah, I think the first step is definitely the issue template. Let's make it as lightweight as possible. There is actually an active proposal around enhancing KEPs, right? So I'm gonna link that in the chat, and that one has some good ideas on what to do with KEPs, and maybe that transfers over to what we do with caps. So take a moment, if you have time, take a moment and check out some of the discussion there. It's not blocking because this is essentially, this is top level process for the project as opposed to kind of internal process for the SIG and for the sub project. So I think that we can diverge there a little bit, but I think it's still valuable to take some notes from what we're doing there, specifically probably around the submission template, right? So it's basically, the submission template says something like, hey, choose the sponsoring SIG, propose your idea to the SIG, right? And those are kind of obviated by the fact that we're in cluster lifecycle and we know exactly who this is being proposed to, right? So, I think it's, float the idea, right? So floating the idea would be opening the issue template, right? And if it's, I think the key part of this is like making sure that people don't go into the weeds building a proposal that may not get accepted, right? So I think the first point of this is like make sure you actually propose it and discuss it before you start down that path, and then from there, whatever, right? I think a Google Doc to start it off is probably fine. Making sure that that's shared with the entire cluster lifecycle group. Right?
Cool. I'll make sure to change the PR around and let me know. I'll definitely review the thread as well. Give me some feedback if you like. I'm sure you're going to see some things and be like, okay, cool. Help me out here. Let's change that. Cool.
Yeah, I can knit all day on that stuff. So.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you. All right. Anything else that we missed? The agenda change. Okay. Yeah, Cecile, do we want to go through issues first?
So do we think that the last 3 items are the same item essentially?
Almost.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely the last 2 are.
I don't really want to talk about triaging.
Yeah.
Project boards.
I mean,
Yeah, we
do you
have a
want
good
to
amount of
first
time.
introduce the fact that there's a new project board?
Yeah. Here, let me share my screen.
So just to set this up, the project boards are named the exact same thing, so this could be confusing. My idea is essentially to shut down the repo-based project board. So the difference between the primary difference between the repo-based project boards and org level project boards is that you can actually control permissions, right? Who has access to read, write, and admin the project boards. Whereas in the repo, project board permissions are essentially dedicated to the admins, maintainers of the repo. So people who have write and admin access to the repo will be able to manipulate the project board, right? So what I wanted to make sure happened here is that we kind of split the boundaries between like who can do that and who can maintain the code. I think those should be explicit. So what we did was we created a separate GitHub team called Cluster API Provider Azure PMs, right? And the PMs group includes everyone in the maintainers group plus RIA, right? So that group is assigned with write access, as well as the maintainers group with write access to the new board, and the admins group for the repo is also assigned as admin on the board. So we basically just want to drain what's on the old board and shut it down so it's less confusing, and then we can move on to triaging the new one.
Can you clarify what you mean by the old board? Like,
yes. So there's a repo-based board. I think that is actually the one that you're in right now, Rita.
Oh, really? Because this one, oh yeah, you're right. That is what I'm in. Oh, that's probably why I didn't have access to that one.
right?
Ah.
So, like I was saying, super confusing because the two boards have
I
to
was
take.
trying to manipulate it in our meeting earlier, and then I was like, this isn't working. Oh, we were in the wrong one. That makes more sense. Yeah, this is a little off. Oh.
So this
Okay, well, that's okay. We can do it later.
it's not in Cluster API Azure,
No,
Yeah,
it's in.
so it's in Kubernetes eggs.
and that's the one we want to use long term.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that one we can actually delegate access to different roles and stuff like that, so people can touch it.
How do
Yep.
it's discoverable? Because people who are just looking at the repo probably won't know where to go look for this.
We'll have to like delete the other one somehow, or like, and link this one.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Let's we have to finish. So Rio, what we were doing at the end of that meeting, where we were setting the stuff up, we finished that, basically making sure all the issues that were in the old board are in the new, and then we can shut down the old one.
Yeah.
Then we would link out to, we can include, maybe include the board in the issue template as well as the README for the repo.
Yeah. We updated the other board, so let me go back after this meeting and refix this one to something that's a little bit more accurate, and then we can go through it next time. But yeah, this is our new board. It's here. Cool. So now we can go to triaging issues, which I think Cecile is going to lead. Right, Cecile?
Okay, sure. So can you add issues to this board directly from the repo since it's not in the repo?
Yeah, so if you go to add cards, it's linked. One of the two linked repositories for the board are Cluster API and Cluster API Azure. So you should automatically see everything that's across both, right? And then you can drag them in from there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I'll do this together. Is it possible to, is this only linked to Cluster API Azure, or is it possible to filter so we only see Cluster API Azure?
Yeah, so is open and then repo : go into the search box.
Mm-hmm.
Space repo : Kubernetes SIGs, Kubernetes -SIGs / cluster API provider Azure.
Nice. That first one is also in progress. That's the one that I was talking about earlier. Okay, yeah, that's also.
Okay.
Do we want
This
to
one's also.
issues? Or?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go through issues right now or fix the board. Whatever you guys want to do.
No, I mean, like, do we want to put the issues and the PRs associated with that issue in the board when there's an issue in?
Yeah, some of them have the linked. As long as it's linked, it'll come up.
Oh, great! Wow,
That's new.
Yeah. Also, that pull request is also
new.
up separately under.
Oh yeah, it's also down here.
We want everything in the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So then the top one, documentation, I think that's to do or
For the mock.
How do we, so what's the difference between backlog and to do? How do we define?
So backlog, so basically, if you see, so Ria, if you can go to the bottom left, or the right-hand side of the left column, of the leftmost column, so where you were, but where it says manage. Sorry,
Yes.
go all the way to the bottom left of the screen, and then you'll see manage at the bottom, yeah. So the way this board is set up is as a, there's a touch of automation on it. For I think it's called automated Kanban with reviews or something. So when they initially create one of those boards, you see a to-do column, I think in progress, review requested, review approved, and then done, right? I usually tweak my boards a little bit so that we have multiple done columns so we can compare what we've done across different quarters. There's an in progress. I get rid of the review approved column because if something is approved, our automation is going to carry that into the done status pretty quickly. So there's no need for that column. Review requested are pull requests with reviews in progress, basically. And then the backlog, so I reconfigure the to-do column to not have any automation on it, and then the backlog becomes the to-do column, right? So any issue that is, like this says, any issue that's newly added will pop up on the backlog, right? So that basically means a maintainer has not looked at this yet. And if we decide that it's to do, then we can drag it into the to-do column.
It only gets added if someone puts it in the project though, right? Not just by getting opened. So that means only maintainers can put it in the project.
When added to this project, yeah, that may be. I wonder if it's for linked or. Well, let's find out. Let's find out now. I'm gonna open.
We have a bunch of open issues that aren't in here. They're not in backlog.
Newly opened issues? Okay. All right. Problematic.
At least several.
Problematic. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe we don't try to solve that.
Yeah, we can just drag stuff from here.
I think what we can say is like backlog is issues that they've been opened and we need to look at them and take care of them. So we can quickly put it in backlog. Glance at it. And to do means it's ready to be picked up by someone. And that means there's enough info on it that someone can go and work on it without needing additional info.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so everything can kind of end up in the backlog until.
Yeah, or maybe it's not necessarily has enough info for us to work on, but we do know it's part of the next milestone. Also a note that once everything is in, you can also filter by milestones. That's a newish feature, which I don't understand why that wasn't like one of the first features, but whatever.
Yeah, we also need to clean up our milestones, I think. So I think I was cutting out. We also need to clean up our milestones.
Yeah, I'm gonna create the new one right now. I think I already did, but
yeah,
maybe not.
I added something in it and then I realized there was anything there. Yeah.
Okay, we can go through in progress and just make sure this is up to date at least for right now. Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, is that okay with everyone? Cool. All right, so refactor customize config folder that is currently in progress as we discussed before. These are the same things. Okay, this isn't in progress, but we want to do it. We want to kind of vet what it would look like if we use Azure Managed Identities instead of service principals. This is something where someone could go and add more information if they wanted to, so we could get someone else on it. So I'll just kind of leave that as at that. We also are working to enable accelerated networking. I don't think we're actually working on that right now, right?
Yes.
Cool. Investigating VMSS. So this was the machine pool work that Wanli was working on. Don't know how far we've gone for specifically vetting VMSS though within that.
Yeah, I think the investigate part is probably done. We should probably close this one because it's pretty old. And then we
Cool.
can break it down into more actionable issues, which is, you know, once CAPI has machine pools, we need to integrate machine pools into CAPZ.
Okay.
Yeah, let's try to handle. Do we want to make sure that we at least sweep all of the issues first before? Just leave that in progress.
Okay.
Yeah. So review in progress. The pull requests that are being reviewed will automatically pull themselves into that as long as
Okay.
they're on the board. Yeah. So yeah, we still need to like milestone a few things as well as remove the stale labels on a few things. So I don't think we should, if everything's on the board, I don't think we should necessarily do that busy work on the call.
Is there automation from in progress to in review? Because the proposal template one, for example, I think that's in review, right?
So it was not on the, I don't believe it was on the board prior to being reviewed, right? So for things that are being only for pull requests that are being reviewed will they be dragged into the review in progress, right? Assuming that you actually do a review and not do like single comments, right? So if you actually go for like comment or approved or request changes from the GitHub workflow, then it'll actually pull into review in progress.
Okay. Do you want me to move this over to review in progress?
The pull request, if it's been reviewed, yeah.
No, that one is in progress. It's not ready for review yet.
Okay, all right.
So this
one and the webhooks one, yeah, you can remove them.
that one, and what was the other one you said?
Proposal template.
Okay.
So hold on. Do we have everything? Do we have everything on the board now?
No.
Okay, let's do that first.
Okay. Yeah, these are all the things.
Yeah,
Just put them in backlog. Yeah, and I can do that after the call. There's a lot.
Okay, so if we want to, all right, close add cards, and then from filter cards, that search box, type in is PR. No space, is colon PR. Yeah. Right, and that'll tell you exactly what's left to review. Or that looks wrong though. No, is no space between is and the colon. Or sorry, the colon and the PR. Yeah, there you go.
I think the 2 test ones are ready for review as well.
Yes. So we don't need to move these. They'll automatically move once someone has done a review, right? And if they once they're opened and on the board, they'll automatically be in progress.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do some work later before the next meeting to make sure this is cleaned up. Is there anything else that we should go through right now?
I would say just note for maintainers, if you are looking at a PR, or if a PR has been open, try to make sure that it lands on the project board. That way this automation will take place. I know it's not perfect, and it's not, honestly, the repo projects are maybe more convenient in some ways, but they don't give us the flexibility to have layers of people who can do reviews on project board and triage versus people who can actually approve code, right?
How do we want to deal with milestones? Is it like, do you want to add every PR to a milestone, or like?
So there is something called Ria. I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Got it. Right. So there's something called the milestone applier, and Right. So there's a milestone applier plugin for Prow, which, okay, we don't have it configured right now, but you can auto milestone things. So you'll see for the Kubernetes configuration for these branches, it'll automatically go into these milestones on merge, right? If we want to pre-milestone something, if we want to milestone something prior to merge, we can totally do that. But if we configure this plugin, it's a little easier. That way, this is basically the idea behind this was to make sure that things that were not milestoned will automatically get milestoned on merge. Milestones. Okay, this is the milestone maintainers list. Okay. So I can go about and set that up if we want to do that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
And speaking of test infra stuff, we should probably add to, I can do this as I'm updating the release docs. We should probably add that we need to make sure that the regex is in there to build images for, as if we cut a new release branch, then we need to update the regex on the test infra job as well.
So you'll give me this table. I'll have my
Cool. Alrighty, so we'll clean up the board. We'll come back next week or in 2 weeks, hopefully, with that updated. Anything else that anyone wants to discuss? Yes, Cecile.
I know we were going to maybe reschedule this meeting, and Stephen, you were going to send out a poll. Is that still happening?
Yes, it's still going to happen. Oh my god. I'm trying to think. We have the 5th, and then we'll have one more meeting in a range around there, somewhere in the week of the 16th before KubeCon. All right, so yeah, I can do that. I can do that for end of this week, and we can start the new meeting schedule on the week of March 2nd.
Great. Yeah.
Sound good?
Look out for that.
Okay, I just have to actually do the doodle now. So.
We'll make sure it still works for everyone who's going to attend, but also want to try to maybe make it work for Europe time zone if that is possible. We'll see.
Yeah, I think I'm fine there. It will probably hurt the West Coasters more. Like we do the SIG release meetings and the release engineering meetings at like, it's usually like 8 a.m. It's 11 my time, but it's 8 a.m. for East Coast. So we'll, yeah, it's a little tricky, but I'll put out some times.
Cool. Thank you. And new members, please add issues.
Thanks.
If there's new features that you want, I'd love that. And feel free to reach out to us in the Slack channel and Kubernetes Slack. Cool. Alrighty. Anything else?
Nope.
Thank you
All
for
right.
Yeah,
no problem. Thanks for throwing me into it. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks, in 2 weeks. Bye.
Later, y'all. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Later, everybody.